We're here to celebrate a landmark agreement today, not only for the Marlins organization, but for our entire community. Giancarlo Stanton is a unique player whose natural gifts and talent are unparalleled in this sport. Over the past 5 years, he's given so much to the Marlins organization, the city of Miami, and especially to his adoring fans. He's been committed to our community, and we're excited to return the favor by demonstrating our commitment to him. I'm proud to confirm the reports that we have reached a long-term agreement to keep Giancarlo in a Marlins uniform for a long time to come, and hopefully for his entire career. Our agreement represents the single largest contract in the history of American sports. As I've mentioned over the past 2 years, our goal was to start fresh with this team. What we had to do a couple of years ago was necessary. It wasn't popular, but we had to do it. We wanted to create a long-term system around young players who would build their entire careers with us. And players like Giancarlo are critical to this vision. I'm thrilled to step up and reward his importance to this ball club. I'm also excited we have a great leadership team in place with David, Dan, Mike, and they've created a collaborative environment where deals like this are possible. And now we know that things are heading in the right direction. The future is bright for the Miami Marlins and its fans. And with that, I'd like to offer the floor to Giancarlo to say a few words.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming. It's an exciting day for Miami, my fans, our fans. See my teammates here for some support. Hey, guys. Man, really, this is a big day for us. We're going to start pushing forward here. This is one step to some building blocks that we need here. We've had some bumps in the road, and that's baseball. It takes time and patience, and we're in the right direction. And this is for the city of Miami. This is for newfound confidence and trust, and starting with me, my teammates, front office here. We're all in agreement. We need a winning environment, a winning city, and this is one building block towards a better future and a new way of life down here in Miami. And I'm glad to be here for my foreseeable future.
Yes, please sign it.
Yeah.
You move that mic. TJ, grab that mic away.
We had heard reports about negotiations, talks between your representatives and the Marlins. Take us through, if you can, a timeline of how this came to be to get you here today.
I'll start. We all met and we made the decision, uniform decision, that we were going to do this. And David, Dan, Mike and I flew out to California to meet with Giancarlo and Joel Wolf, his agent, and we locked ourselves in a room and we talked about the future of the franchise and what it would mean to have him here and what it would mean to make the commitments that he needs to see to be here. And it took about a week for the lawyers, I guess you say, to work this thing out. And it came to fruition about 5-6 days ago. The necessary processes went along with it, physicals, getting here, but it's worked out spectacularly for everybody, and I couldn't be happier, and I think everybody that surrounds me is as thrilled as I am to know where we're headed. You have anything to add to that?
No, we said from the beginning that we wanted Giancarlo a part of our future. And as the season ended, that was our primary focus. And Jeffrey, David, DJ, Red, and I, we got right to it. And I want to thank Joel for his assistance in making this happen. Obviously, he was a big part of this negotiation. But as Jeffrey said, when it was all said and done, it was something that we all felt was the right thing to do. We have a common goal, and that's to win. And that's to win here in Miami. And Giancarlo shares that idea with us. And, you know, we couldn't be happier that we're here today, you know, celebrating that he will be a Miami Marlin for a long time.
Giancarlo, Jim Barry, CBS 4. Did getting beaned in September make you rethink maybe nothing is promised and make you think more about guaranteeing your financial future now?
It had zero to do with that, actually. I understand how important that was, that getting hit in the way that this can be taken away from me in a heartbeat, but that had nothing to do with this decision here.
Jeffrey, Pedro Gomez from ESPN. Jeffrey, right here.
Gotcha.
A few years ago, you sat right here and we're talking about this is the new Marlins. We are now headed in this direction. You signed Burley, Reyes, everything. Why is this different?
Well, in 2012, we were opening a new ballpark, and we wanted to do something special for the community. Frankly, it didn't work. And none of us wanted to be in the position that some other clubs have been for 20 years without success. I said before, I pushed the reset button. It wasn't popular, and I didn't care. I knew that we had some talent that would come and grow with us, and we would bring them along and surround them with other talent, and we had to start all over again. Those players didn't win, and it wasn't working. And management had to be changed, and I did that. And now everything seems like it's in the right direction.
Mr. Lauria, Gary Nelson with CBS 4 News here in Miami. If I could ask this, your organization and you, quite frankly, are much despised among many in this community. There was the controversy over the building of the stadium with taxpayers' money. The later revelations, the team had much more wealth than had been represented. A sitting mayor was recalled by angry taxpayers, outraged over the building of this stadium with their money. Can a deal like this wash that much bad blood away?
I think I'm going to take one quick stab at that. I appreciate that you're here today. Thank you so much. And from our standpoint, when we talk about our franchise and the Miami Marlins and what Jeffrey's done when we came here in 2002, it's hard to come to a place where previous owners and ownership, it hasn't worked out and there was no new ballpark and no future. And I know that obvious bumps in the road, and we talked about it with Giancarlo. When there are bumps in the road, what do you do with that, and how do you make things positive? And you do it one step at a time. And that is what we have done. And the timing here of Giancarlo, and what's so exciting is we're not trying to do anything other than win games. And when we sat down with Joel and with Nick in Beverly Hills, that was the first thing that was talked about. There was no talk of beaning in the head. There was no talk of the ballpark. It was a talk about winning. And that's all that we're about up here, and that's why we all sit the way we sit, because we believe that Giancarlo gives us the best chance to win, and that's what we want to bring to Miami. And Giancarlo, the first thing he said was, I want to win, and I want to win in Miami. So make sure that if we can get a deal done, that we're able to win. And that's really what we talk about. And when we talk with our fans and we go around in the community and all the great things that we do, as you may see right here behind you, you've got the entire Marlins RBI team, reviving baseball in inner cities, such a very important part of some of the things we do in this community. And these are the champion Marlins right here who just got their rings from Giancarlo. And pretty soon it'll be you guys giving rings to Giancarlo when the big Marlins win the World Series. So that is just part of the things we do. So again, thank you.
So the winning will win back the hearts of the people.
to me, it's always about winning, and that's what we want to do. And now we have stability and sustainability, which is something this franchise has not had in the past. And when you look at the people on this stage, you're looking at really the people responsible for that through good days and bad days. And there's a lot of both. And it's time for some good days in a row. And having Giancarlo as the centerpiece of that is just natural. It's a natural feeling for him to be the face of this franchise and the face of what it means going forward. And that's why Jeffrey was so willing to make the commitment, and so was Giancarlo, because he wants to be the man, and he's good enough to assume that mantle and mature enough to assume that mantle.
Mike, this is for Mike Hill. Mike, Josh Friedman from FM 104.3, The Ticket here in Miami. It seems to be, especially in the first 3 years, there's a lot of financial flexibility with this contract before it starts to kick up in years 4, 5, and 6. In the past quarter century, I believe there's been only one club that won a World Series with one player making 20% of the payroll. That was Pudge Rodriguez on your club in 2003. How much would you like the maximum for one player to earn as a percentage of the payroll?
Josh, we've gone through all of the studies, and we're very aware of the percentages and everything related to building a club. But most importantly, we're trying to just put a club that we feel is complete. You look at the lineup, it's a deep lineup. You talk about a rotation, you want a strong rotation, you want a strong bullpen. And you know, we're going to work within whatever our limitations are. We know what our challenges are. We've never run from them, and we know that we have some of the best young talent in Major League Baseball. And now we have the cornerstone sitting right in the middle of that. So from our perspective, you know, Dan and I, when we started this offseason, job number one was to get the big man locked up, and now the rest of the job continues. We made tremendous strides in 2014. It was a great step as an organization coming off a 100-loss season, but we know we're not where we want to be. You know, we only won 77 games. We didn't play until October. And ultimately, that's what our goal is. And Giancarlo is on board with that, and his teammates are here to support him. Thank you guys, Salty, TK, C-Chef, and also somewhere around here. But this is a team, and you see the support that they have for their teammate, and you know that's what we're trying to build here. Foster that, create consistent winning here, and he's a big part of that.
Jeffrey, over here on your right, I believe Tim Reynolds of the Associated Press in the back. Given the enormity of this deal, what was your level of concern in that? Giancarlo addressed what he went through in September, of course, with the ball in the face, and you know everyone knows the horror stories of how some players, when they go through something that horrific, they don't come back the same. What was your level of concern as you were constructing this deal?
I actually had no level of concern. I mean, it's plain and simple. I mean, you're looking at a special young man, strong as hell. I don't know how any other way to say it. And he, you know, the accident was in his lower jaw mostly. Didn't affect his eyes or his vision. Passed every test he had to take, the flying colors. His vision was not affected. I mean, I guess he can tell you more about that than I can, but there was no level of concern. There is none.
Just one thing to add to that. 2 spring trainings ago, this gentleman to my right took about a 95-mile-an-hour fastball in the neck from a young Jose Fernandez. So we've been down this road before. Obviously, it didn't affect him, and he responded. And through all the impact tests, concussion tests, and all those things, we feel very confident that moving forward, he's going to be he'll be extremely healthy and ready to produce.
Giancarlo, Will Manso again here, over center. You used the word trust in your statement, and I think kind of what Gary was getting on as far as public trust and trust from the people of South Florida, but just your trust. What hurdle did you have to clear other than $325 million to say, okay, I want to stay here and I trust that things will be different?
Well, it starts with the core of my teammates that I have. There's the homegrown guys that I know their makeup. I know their desire to win and what we've gone through to get here. Now, in terms of trust of the city and the community, that starts with all of us, because if I don't perform, if I don't show up, I'm letting them down. I'm letting my teammates down. I'm letting everyone down. Now, in terms of and trusting our scheme of things and our plan to win, was my main focus in the meeting. I didn't want to talk about dollars and money. I want to talk about what's our plan, what are we going to do moving forward, and how are we going to change this makeup in Miami. I mean, everyone wants to talk about the record-breaking deal and all that. That's for you guys to talk about. I want to have records on the field and do things on the field, and that's what this is about. That's what making a push in Miami is about for me.
Giancarlo, Steve Shapiro, WSVN Channel 7, and I do want to talk about the record-breaking deal. Sorry. We've done the math. You will average $69,000 a day for the next 13 years. That's way more than the national average annual income in this country. Is there part of that that is almost embarrassing to you?
Embarrassing to me? Not exactly. I know that I have a lot of expectations to live up to, which I need to do and am willing to do. See, now this isn't like a lottery ticket and peace out. All right, now people are thinking it like that. Now you win the lottery, you quit your job and you go live wherever you want to live and you call it a day. Now this is the start of new work and a new job for the city. Now it's a huge responsibility and one I'm willing to take, and I need to come into this as if I am drafted back in 2007 and I have work to do and things to progress and make this a huge step for the team.
Steve, have you figured out dollars per at bat? No.
Steve, we'd like to add one thing to that, and one of the things that Giancarlo talked about from the beginning is what his commitment level is on the field, but also his commitment level off the field. And one of the important components of the contract for him was a charitable component and what he does off the field. And just off camera when no one's looking, giving the rings to the RBI children, what he does when he makes appearances in this community when people aren't watching, because he doesn't do it for the camera. He does it because it's right and it feels right to do, and that's what being a part of the community is, and Giancarlo's really good at that.
Phil Rogers from MLB.com for Giancarlo. Yes, it's about winning to you, but if you're 2 years away from free agency. If you didn't do this contract, you could have motivated the organization to trade you to a team that is already winning, or in 2 years you could have just picked your spot. So beyond the organization, are there things in South Florida, things in this community? What sold you in your time in Miami that this is where you want to be for the rest of your career?
Honestly, I love living here. I love the people. I love the environment. I've said it from the beginning, winning or losing, just my personal belief in living here, I like it better than LA where I grew up. So just to start that, I'm very comfortable here. I enjoy all aspects of it, and this is a place that I want to make a stamp and bring something that Miami hasn't seen before.
Giancarlo, Will Altoff from 610 WIOD. You're going to be here for a long time. What are the records? Is there one that you're looking at that you want to break and make a significant impact as a member of the Miami Marlins?
I don't want to go on specific records and do all that, and I just want to win, man. I don't if I'm not performing and we're winning, I'm cool with that. I want to win. I obviously need to perform to make this ball club win, but that is the end of the day. I want to be playing in October. I don't want to be on vacation in October. That's what I want to do.
Is that also why you wanted the opt-out clause after 2020, because you want to make sure that the team is progressing and getting to that point?
Yeah, that is one of the main components. I want to make sure that we keep moving forward, and that was for my own protection and what I believe personally is, in a sense, a push for everyone to make this keep going forward. That's what I envision.
being over 20 years old, this team hasn't had a generational player where fans 8, 9, 10 years from now, as we love following baseball, you're climbing the record 300, 400, 500, that you could come out to the ballpark and see that guy that's been there. How important will that be for you to be that face of the franchise in the generations to come?
Absolutely. No one's had that opportunity to do so, which is another thing that I wanted to make clear, which is why I wanted the lifetime type contract, because I didn't want the few years and then, hey, see you later. That, you know, Miami doesn't need that. They don't deserve that, and they need a person to look to get this in the right direction. So that's what I wanted to make a main focus of for this team moving forward.
Hey, John Heyman from MLB Network and CBS. I had one question for Giancarlo first, and then I had one for Jeff and Dan. For Giancarlo, obviously a couple years ago you were pretty skeptical about the direction of the team, and then last winter you deferred the talks because you still wanted to see. Did you become convinced during the season as the team progressed and obviously won 14, 15 more games, or was it a sales job that they did to you when they came out to California to see you that helped convince you? And then I want to ask Jeff and Dan, I think Giancarlo rather modestly called this just one building block. Obviously this is quite a big building block, but how many more moves do you think need to be made before this team is really a bona fide World Series contender?
Well, it was actually, I had to sit back and think. I stayed up multiple nights just thinking and thinking and thinking about my teammates and the direction of the guys that I've fought for and lost with and won with. But like I said, the bumps in the road, we've all been there with each other, and the road pushing forward looks bright. So we have the talent and the pieces to do so, but with a young team and talent that comes the ups and downs and the inconsistency, which takes repetitions and takes practice and really preparation. So that's what I need to instill in them, and you know, we need to work together and turn this around. Really, it wasn't. You guys can think whatever you want, but it was not the money fueling this, because if it was, I would have just said, oh, here you go, this is the offer, I'm in. Now I had to, this was the toughest decision of my life. This is 13 years. This is, I didn't even go to school for 13 years, all right? So I wanted to really make sure that you know, that this was what I wanted to do in terms of just making a name for this team, changing things around here. And it was very tough for me, and I'm glad we came to agreement, and it's going to be good. It's going to be fun.
Before Dan answers his part of the question, I just want to interject something about Giancarlo. He's very modest, and he will not tell you, but I will tell you, he is one of the brightest young men I've come across in baseball. He's extremely curious, and he thinks a great deal. He just doesn't snap judgment anything. And that's the kind of thing you have to respect, and he is extremely mature. You can say you didn't go to school for 13 years, but no one would ever know it. Dan?
The second part of your question, John, is when Jeffrey put Mike and I in this capacity, we made a promise to one another that the two things we would try to do, as we call it, flipping rocks. And we are constantly looking at any spot, any place, whether it's through a trade, whether it's through free agency, to try to find players that are going to make us better. And the other thing we wanted to do was create a team-first mindset. And we delivered that in spring training, and a credit to Red and these players that we have and the players that we brought in, they took that and ran with it. So to answer your question, we are looking. We're looking at spots. Truly the thing now for us, we went plus 15 from the previous year, which was great. and it was a step in the right direction. But it's definitely not where we want to go. We want to be playing in October, and we like to say it was a mile marker towards the destination that we're after. And bottom line for us, if it makes sense and it makes us better, then we're going to acquire and try to move in that direction. But the nucleus of young players, along with the veteran guys that we were able to bring in, has created a very good field down below. There's a lot of talent there, and a piece or two in the right spot can be essential as we move forward and try to continue to win.
Dave Hyde of the Sun Sentinel. Giancarlo, you, right over here, you, obviously the deal itself is historic, but the structure of the deal is pretty inventive too. Could you talk, you said you spent nights thinking and thinking and thinking. Did you spend nights thinking about the structure of, you're taking less than your market value the first couple of years. Did you think about that? And also, what do you get in return from the Marlins, or what did they tell you for that?
To add pieces. We got to add pieces around me. It's built that way in order to do so financially, and that's what. So we gotta trust, man. We gotta trust that we are all in it to win it, and that's why it is structured that way. That's why we came to terms on it, and which is went into everything I was thinking about. The tough part of my decision was the uncertainty of the past, but you can't always think about the past. You got to look with what's with you and what can be ahead of you. And it looks good from my eyes, in my conclusions. It looks good. Outside of the ballpark, helping out in the community, man. But being there for them when they need me, and showing up and just helping out. That's what it is. Being a face, not just with a jersey on, but in the community as well.
We need to start clearing the room.